agent is a master of deception and moving silently through the shadows. Wearing no armor of any kind and armed with only a basic bow, they rely on their skill at remaining unseen and their ability to manipulate minds to survive any hostile encounters that they're unable to avoid. A couple of key Ordinator perks turn this build into a total beast, and we'll talk about those in the perk section. By the end of the game, combat was akin to a cat playing with a ball of yarn. Or you could just simply sneak past everyone if you choose. The agent was sent to Skyrim undercover as a criminal, but a mix-up at Helgen nearly led to her execution. Once free, she set out on her mission. A potential impossibility, she was tasked by the Emperor to determine the fate of the last few remaining blades and convince them to return with her to Cloud Ruler Temple. The Emperor had procured the temple under the guise of it becoming his new summer home, when in fact he intended to secretly re-establish the blades. Intercepted dossiers indicated that the Thalmor agents were convinced some blades were still alive and hiding in Skyrim, so the agent was at least somewhat assured that she wasn't chasing ghosts. However, locating them and convincing them of the Emperor's sincerity would put her skills to the test to a degree that she had rarely faced. I picked out the mod for the clothing version of Triss's armor from Witcher 2, and I went with the Imperial bow and steel arrows because they're weapons that are not only Imperial soldiers would use, but also locals would have access to. Okay, let's take a quick look at the perks that made the agent. We will start with archery, because that is the only combat skill that the agent has. So I went mostly for perks that would increase damage while I'm sort of sniping out of the shadows, so more damage from long distance, ignoring armor. more damage when someone is at full health, the ability to shoot faster. Or, sorry, that's that one. This is the ability to move at full speed, but I just wanted that so that I could get to Lion's Arrow. This is what makes the build massively overpowered. So not only is the Lion's power an unlimited use power, it's not like once a day or anything, but it allows you to store a dual casted spell of your choice that targets an enemy. So it can't be one that affects you, it has to affect a target. But when you fire a fully drawn bow in combat, that spell is cast along with the arrow, and it's free. Like, there's no magicka cost. So as you saw in the gameplay section, I used it extensively against... used it mostly with fear spells, but also you can, use it with... you could use it with Frenzy, although I like the Fear and Calm, because you can basically turn an enemy on or off in combat with you. If you cast Fear, they're always in combat, so you will continue to cast Fear every time you hit them. If you use Calm, then when you fire once at them, it'll put them into combat if you're not in combat, and then you attack again, and then it calms them. So now they're not in combat. Then you get another sneak shot bonus and get them back into combat, then fire again, calm them down, and so on. And Hailstorm is just faster firing, and that is it for archery. Sneak, I went with everything that kind of, since acrobatics is part of the agent build, I went with things like, silent roll, and then everything else was just like making it easier and easier to sneak. I did take Shadow Warrior, although I didn't use it all that much, but it's a nice thing to have. I also have the invisibility spell from Illusion, so you could easily not take that perk and put it into something else if you'd like. Lockpicking, they do, agents of course are, it would make sense that they can get into places that they're not wanted, so I took just the basic mastery perks, Wax Key, which is kind of irrelevant, but I like taking Locksmith so that the pick starts closer to the opening position, which is always nice. Speech, they're also very persuasive, so I took both Speech Mastery and Bribery. And Illusion, probably the most powerful part of the build. I took Mastery, I took Quiet Casting, I took Dual Casting so that I could affect pretty much everybody and everything. Dream Thief is not needed, I just used it, I didn't use it, but I wanted it so that I could get to Kindred Mage for more powerful spells. Again, Fickle Fate, more powerful, Master the Mind, allowing you to affect Undead, Daedra, automations, etc. Then we went up with Imposing Presence, illusion spells within 40 you cast an aura that affects everybody within 40 feet, and that increases the effectiveness of illusion spells. So that's if they're close by, it's even easier to hit high-level targets with your spells. This Calm spell, or when they're affected by Imposing Presence, they lose armor rating and magic resistance. With Fear, they drop their weapon, which is fantastic. You probably saw that somewhere in the gameplay footage. I fired a fire spell or a Fear spell at somebody, and they just tossed their weapon and ran away. Fear spell, I didn't actually make use of this in the gameplay section, but if you're nearby someone who is under a Fear spell, you absorb magicka. Now that normally is kind of difficult to do because they run away from you, but you can use Lamb to the Slaughter to select a humanoid only. So in this particular gameplay, I was fighting Falmer and Chorus, so it didn't really work. But against like bandits or anything like that, you can select one of them and they'll just stand there, and for 30 seconds you can just absorb their magic from them if you want, and you can also attack them and they won't fight back, which is kind of nice. And Reaper was also another one of these activate a humanoid under a comm spell. I didn't actually use this, I just needed it so that I could get to Lamb. And that's it.